Okay, so we are going to start where we left off in the last video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to take this auto retopologized mesh that we did very quickly and very easily using Quad Remesher and use 3D Coat to make it even better, to make it even smoother, and to distribute these vertices even better. Okay, so I'm going to close Quad Remesher. We don't need it open anymore. I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to put this back at 0. Okay, now if you're wondering why, I'm going to turn the grid back on, why it's so high up off the grid. Well, this is the size of the avatar in Second Life, and when I created in Marvelous Designer, I created it on the avatar, and you can imagine the avatar's legs are down here, head is up here, and arms and that. So that's why it's up here. And I would leave it like this. Don't recenter it, because then you're going to have to move your mesh. So by doing this, you keep the mesh in the position so that you can plop it right on the avatar and start rigging it. You don't have to reposition it or anything. So, okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to export out this as an OBJ. Okay. Let's see, so we're going to export selection, and we're just going to say smooth dress in 3D Coat. Okay, and so I've exported out the mesh. Now I'm going to come over here to 3D Coat. Now in 3D Coat, I like to bring it in a different way than most people do. And I'm going to explain why. Okay, you're going to do Voxel Sculpting, right? And you go to the folder here to open up the folder to import it. We're going to import the smooth dress in 3D Coat, okay? And turn off import with W/O means without voxelization, okay? And I usually click on auto scale. Okay. Oh, and you do want to center to mass. Okay, click center to mass, and then we're going to auto scale it up to about 1,000,000. Okay, and then put back on import without voxelization. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subdivide. Once, twice, minimum of 2 times. And you see how it gets smoother? And then once that's done, like I said, make sure you have import without voxelization turn on, click apply, and click yes. You want to keep the original scale, where the mesh was in the scene. Now, it's going to display where bigger like we have it now, but it's going to remember the position and the scale it was originally done in. So I click yes. And then all you have to do is click anything but subdivide over here. Click anything but subdivide. Now we get this orange thing that is very difficult to look because it's super shiny. You can either click on the clay, click clay version, if you like the clay, which is similar to ZBrush, or you can click, I like this one, this white one up here in the corner. Okay, now remember how we said it's kind of really sharp right in here, and in here. So we want to smooth that down. So with draw selected, if you hold down the shift key, you get the smooth tool. And if we come in here, we can start to smooth this a little bit. And you notice it doesn't really change the shape of our model much, but it's just smoothing those hard, jaggedy areas out. So we get a nice, smooth mesh in that area. And I'll want to do the same thing over here. And I'm just smoothing that out. So that we get, see, it doesn't really change the shape, but it just makes it smoother. It gets rid of those really jaggedy areas. Okay, so now that we have our mesh smoothed, we want to, might even want to smooth this just a tear. Here, just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now we have that nice and smooth. What we want to do is we want to import the same exact mesh, and we're going to import it in the Retopo room. So you just click on Retopo, and we're going to import the same exact mesh that we just imported. So you go, File, Import Retopo Mesh. Okay, and we're going to import that same mesh, and it goes right on top of the other one. Doesn't matter that we scaled it down or this or that. It'll snap. It'll go right on top of it. Now, if you hit Enter right now, it'll ask, do you want to snap it? So you either hit Enter or you hit Apply. And when it asks you, do you want to snap it? You say no, you don't want to snap it. Because if you snapped it, what would happen is these holes right here, it would try to snap it and these would get all messed up. And we don't want that to happen. So you say no. Now the mesh is actually there. The first mesh that we brought in, you can kind of see it poking through a little bit here. So it's actually there. And so what we want to do is we want to select, we got select selected, we want to select the vertices. Let's get a little bit bigger brush. And we want to select the vertices in this area. Okay, so we selected all those vertices in that area. Now you can actually select all the vertices, but the vertices you don't want is you don't want to select the vertices that are right along the edge of the mesh. Now you can come in here and you could really get as close as you want and get down here and select these. I wish there was a faster, easier way to select all of them. In Maya, you would just select all the vertices and then you would contract the selection. You can't do that in 3D Code, at least not in this version. I haven't updated in a while. Maybe they've fixed that to where you can do that. Okay, we're mainly concerned with how these look around here, not so much down here. But if you want to go through and you want to select as many of the vertices as you can to get a really nice even distribution over everything, you can. But then you got to make your brush size smaller so you can get into these little areas. Like I said, you do not want to select the vertices that are along the edges here, because once you do the next step, which is relaxing, it would tend to, they're going to fall off the mesh and then they'll stick to the other side over here and it just becomes a big mess. Okay, so let's say that's enough. Okay, now this is the area that we really want to fix. If you notice, it's really kind of jaggedy. The green stuff is the mesh that we just imported, and it's really kind of jaggedy. We don't want it to be like that. We want a bit more even distribution and smoother. So now we're going to relax it. So that's down at the bottom here under Entire Mesh. Let me zoom in and I will show you what happens. And I'm just click, 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 click. And you can see it's relaxing the mesh. Now you can relax it in Maya, but I don't think you can snap to a mesh like this. So we're using the advantages of 3D Coat by being able to smooth the mesh out a little bit. Even though it was a fairly low mesh to start with, that I made in Marvelous Designer, you don't have to use super dense particles distance. I was using a particle distance of 20. You know, oh, I missed a little one there. So there we go. And you can see it's smoothed this stuff out considerably. And now we have a nice smooth area here. It's distributed a lot better. You know, you can click, you can keep clicking, relax. We got a pretty nice edge flow. You can even move vertices around. Let's see. So if I go, if I go here to the Move tool, no, where is it? The Brush tool. So at the Brush tool, it acts kind of like a soft select tool, and I can move mesh around this way as well. So if I wanted to move that up a little bit, I could do that. You know, So you can move things around if you wanted to do it that way. And then go back to select this area and relax it. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a booger there. Okay, so we're going to have to move this one right here. Oops. Ah, come on, let me select it. Okay, I'm going to Control Z, but you get the point. You can move things around. Control Z. Oh, come on. There we go. You can move things around using the brush tool, you know, to get a little bit better edge flow. So say you wanted that to be more like that. You know, so the 3D Coat is really great at doing stuff like that, so that you can make little changes, get a little bit better edge flow. You know, you know, so like I can tell this would be, whoops, a little bit better like that. That would actually follow the edge flow a little bit better. And then just select the area a little bit and relax. Okay, it has a lot of great tools. Like I said, I can go to the Move tool and say, you know, this looks a little, you know, I don't need these triangles there. So I can just take this, and that snaps to that, and it gets rid of those vertices. And then I could select that area and relax it. So you can fix little problems like that. You can come in here and do a little bit more relaxation. So you can really get your model, and you know, if I go to the Move tool again, see, I'd probably go to the Move tool and go, yeah, that's not necessary. Get rid of that. This is probably where I would add a couple of edge loops, which in 3D Coat is split rings. So if I wanted to add a couple of edge loops here, give a little more definition so that I have at least 4 there. I need another edge loop here to make sure there's 4 there. Go to the Select tool. And select these around here. Okay, hold down the Control, and I can deselect. So since I accidentally selected that one there. Okay, and then once you select enough vertices in that area, you can then relax it. There we go. And the same thing for here. Hit Escape to deselect that area. I want to select this area here. Okay, so I've selected that area. Now I want to relax it. Yeah, we might as well relax this a little bit too, just to make it a little bit more evenly distributed. And I'm just click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. And now we have nicely even distributed. And now we have enough. Like I said, minimum is 4. You could even put another edge loop or 2, because shoulders, when they go down, tend to get, this avatar was made in the T-pose. So the arms were straight out. So that's how you would rig it. And so when the arms go down, you need a little more edge loops in here. Okay, so once you're happy with the distribution, you could fix things up as much as you want, like this little triangle here. I would probably go to move and then just move this like to there. So you can get rid of some of these really tiny triangles. Like that, so you don't really have to have, so you can play around with it more. Get something that's a little more evenly distributed. Could probably even do this. So that you don't end up with super tiny triangles. This area could be cleaned up quite a bit more. But time is money. So you can come in here and you can clean things up. So, yeah, that's... Yeah. So anyway, so there's never, the auto retopologizer is never going to be perfect, but like I said, these I could probably get rid of a lot of this area right in here, and it'd still look just as good. But like I said, you can nitpick everything and go super crazy cleaning it up. It will never be as good as manually retopologizing something, but for the amount of time and effort put into it, I would probably, this is a good area where, see that the fold is here, so I'd probably want to push this up just a little more so that it follows the fold and contour a little more. Let's see. There we go. And then I would select this area and just relax it just a little bit. And that's a little better. There we go. Right. And so anyway, so you can see how by pushing it and relaxing it, you can get a little nicer edge flow. You can get a lot nicer edge flow, actually. So now if we, okay, so once you're happy with that and you've made any little corrections and you've gotten used to deleting edges and to inserting the edge, you know, add, deleting edge, you know, deleting edges and adding, you know, adding edges if you need to, split rings, collapsing edge loops and stuff, and moving things and sliding edge rings. Once you get used to all these tools, you can then are ready to export out your retopo objects. This is export retopo object. And I'll just change this to from 3D code. Now if we come back here to Maya and we go File, Import. Okay, now it is there. This is the smooth dress. Is this it? Yes, it is. Okay. So I know it is because you can see it's all the edges are hard. Whenever you export out of 3D Coat, it comes in hard. But you can even see even now, compared to this over here, this is so much smoother and it has better edge flow. See, it's kind of jaggedy there, and over here it's nice and smooth. Even though it's a hard edge. Now if we go to Normal's Soften Edge, now side by side they don't really look that much different. But here you can see now, see how smooth that is compared to there. So this has better edge flow. And this is going to, you know, this is more dense here, but they're smoother, so when the breasts expand, it's going to give you a much nicer result. And we only increased it by less than 100 vertices because the edge loops that we added in here. So that's how you bring something in. You know, could have, if you wanted to sculpt in more wrinkles, you could come in here and you could sculpt on this and create more wrinkles by sculpting if you wanted to. So not only can you smooth wrinkles out, you can sculpt them. It may not have the right edge flow, but then you could export this out and retopologize it again using Z Remesher. Although it will have lost the edge loop along here and the edge loop around here. But that's not that big of a deal. You can put your own edge loop in like I showed you when we did it from the side. You could put an edge loop straight down the middle in Maya, front and back at the same time, and then you could draw an edge loop, create an edge loop that goes from here and then just kind of went there and then down there with the tools in Maya and hardened it, and then did used Quad Remesher to create your retopology. So anyway, so I hope you guys found that useful. This right here would be a pretty, it's a fairly low poly dress for Second Life standards with only 2,800 vertices. It's pretty low poly, but it doesn't look low poly because we made sure where the density that we needed, where it needed to be. So believe me, this will be a much easier dress to rig than something that was super high poly. So awesome. So that's it for this video. If you stuck around for both videos, congratulations. That's nearly an hour's worth of video you just watched. Hopefully you got some good information out of it, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.